Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Toku Portal podcast for Kamen Rider Zero-One. I am Vashi V, and joining me today is...
Rye? Zero, you're muted.
Uh,
Oh,
Discord. What the?
okay.
Okay, there.
Okay. We're starting to be able to hear you
Right.
now.
Yeah, it's fucking muting it by itself. God, Discord.
Okay. And,
Um. Anyway,
yeah.
yes,
Welcome
I
to
just.
Kamen Rider Zero-One. Um, so, we got a double feature for you today because they also put out this little special that came on the DVD release. A little behind the scenes. So Zero, you watched this, right?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay. So this kind of answers like every question we had about the series thus far.
in a very concise manner.
Yeah, this is how you do a recap episode.
Especially if it's a recap that's going to cover new information.
Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, I was gonna say I wish this was more in the show, but I'm like, technically they've been hiding the Naki reveal for so long that it's like there's no way you could put this in the show.
Right, and that's the biggest thing with it, and that's I think the best fact about how we received it is we received these two episodes back to back, and this particular part of the special gives much more weight to the episode itself. Because now we have all of the backside of everything that was going on behind the scenes and everything that played out.
So, uh, we finally see Naki, who they were before getting implanted into Fua's brain, the human gear that they were. They were always Thouser's like personal human gear, just his tool though, and they were actually the ones that gave the Zetsumurai's keys to Metsubo Jinrai under Thouser's orders as part of his plan to cause the human gear to go out of control. So both Thouser and Hirobi think that Naki is working for them.
Right. I mean, well, the thing is, Naki was working under Thouser's orders, and Thouser told Naki to go work for Hirobi.
Yeah, but like both of them
Um,
are like claiming sole control over Naki this entire time.
yeah, I mean, that's sort of what Hirobi does in like Thouser just built Naki just well, maybe not for this purpose, but it's specifically using Naki for these purposes. So like it makes sense. I mean, like this actually a really good special. Like it sort of framed where it's like, oh, this is the build up to how Thouser got his belt and everything, and like everything that's set up to that point. But like honestly, this is like Naki's backstory, the episode,
Yeah, no,
right?
like it's called like Thouser or whatever, but it's really just episode of Naki.
Right, pretty much. Like I only have like two real complaints about this, and one is right, like the whole thing of oh, you need this chip to henshin. Like that comes like so far later, and like Fu doesn't even need it, so it's like, well, that's kind of pointless. And I was like, well, maybe Fu did get the chip implanted original. It's just he just has a copy of Naki, and then this version that we're seeing gets destroyed. But no, it's literally the same one. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. And then the
I called it.
second, yeah, and then the other thing, yeah, it's true. And then the other thing that's annoying is like how they frame it as like building up to Thouser's belt. I'm like, all right, maybe you could see all the Matsubo Jinrai, like the Zetsumurai's keys. You don't know. this is kind of more just a problem with the presentation because like in the actual episode like special, like everything Thouser does kind of makes sense where it's like, oh, this new thing came into play. I'm just gonna like tweak my plan to incorporate that. Right. But the way they're visually showing it, it's like Thouser's got all the keys figured out and he's just waiting for them to show up. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Because like Satellite Thea
So
and
here's the
Satellite
thing.
Thea made most of those up. So it's like I'm guessing this is more of a problem in how they're visually telling the story,
Here's the thing.
as opposed to all the other stuff. Yep.
Thouser explains here, they're like, alright, so he needs the data of 8 Zezimrise keys and 8 Progress keys in order to make his 1000 driver. Let's start with the Zetsumarize keys that he gave to Metsubo Jinrai. He was going to start there, and then Zero-One shows up using the Rising Hopper key, and then Fua steals the Shot Riser and uses the Shooting Wolf key, and that was just like, oh, well, this is not the plan, but hey, we can work with this. This just makes things go faster.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like everything, like Thouser's actions make way more sense, but like the way they visualize it kind of makes it seem like, oh, everything according to Thouser's plan. And it's like, no, that's clearly not what the fuck is happening. It's just random shit's getting thrown Thouser's way, and he's just adapting to it really well. And that's one of the things that like you don't fully see in the show, but you see in the special is like, oh, something new happened. Whatever, I'm just gonna roll with it. That kind of like improves Thouser's character, but then again, he's also kind of like a total asshole by the end of this. So yeah, he's just kind of like Thouser turned up to 11 in the special.
Like, and to be fair, that's what Thouser was initially, was, you know, Thouser at 1,000%, you know, before he starts getting wrecked by Aruto.
Yeah, well,
The,
like right now, I think the only thing he exists to do is like have all the main characters kick his ass and then die forever.
which I
But
kind of really hope happens.
yeah, I'm like that's the only way I can forgive this character for sticking around this long at this point. But sorry, I cut you off.
But like the special did a good job of showing his intelligence in the aspect of, because the way we got it built up in the show was everything that happened was part of Thouser's plan, which we learned through this that yes, everything that happened was part of Thouser's plan, just not when it was supposed to happen. So it showed his intelligence in being able to adapt to everything that was in this point, 0-1, the Fua, and all that getting thrust in well before they were supposed to. So he has that intelligence to be able to shift and adapt with what's happening, which we don't truly really see in the show. Because he's not really adapting, he's just getting his ass kicked.
I mean, he kind of did early on in the show, but like, yeah, it kind of went downhill. Like, it's the same problem as like Yua. Like in this backstory, you figure out the reason Yua's like way more active in the field is because like, well, she doesn't have to be the assistant, right? Like Naki's there. And then like once Naki goes away, like Yua just has to be the assistant, and therefore like all of her character like momentum just like stops.
So,
Yeah. Also, yeah, well, let's talk about the special, and then we should probably do because we've been getting a couple of comments on the channel and we haven't talked about them. Also, for God's sake, I hope the audio is okay because I have like no backup recording going at all. Like all
I
of my
can hear
recording
you,
shit's
so it
not
should
working.
be fine. So,
Oh,
so Zaya Enterprises developed the Shot Riser, correct?
yes.
Yes.
Here, he gives Naki the Force Riser, but he explains it like, yeah, I found this amongst
Yes.
the rubbish in like Daybreak Town. Go.
Which would be accurate to the show, being considering the fact that Jin was present and transformed using that riser when Daybreak happened.
Hirobi.
Or yeah,
Right.
Hirobi.
Yeah. Really. I
Sorry,
mean,
it's an
so
important
that's
distinction to make.
yeah. It's fair enough. The point is like we have to remember there's one movie before the show starts, and that's the whole thing where he goes like Thouser goes in the special. It's like hey, I thought that Hopper key was lost. So like that key probably showed up in that movie, which none of us have seen. And
Okay,
so like he probably also found this belt from that movie,
are you talking about
right?
the crossover Zero-One?
I don't know. It's the one where we find out that like his dad is the one who designed the Rider stuff. You know, his robot dad, or Arto's robot dad.
Which most likely
The
would be yeah, which
uh,
most likely would be uh
the Zero one.
yeah,
I
the
mean,
Zeo-Zero-One, the crossover.
yep. Yeah, it would have to be because like we know that like his robot dad in Rider form or whatever is the one who helped take down the Ark or at least stopped it from launching. So yeah, like Thouser, we know Thouser was around there, so that's probably what the hell they're talking about. But not really, so we don't.
I think not. I think they're just referring to like uh they had progress keys themselves, like the wolf, the cheetah, the gorilla. But then suddenly Arto has the Hopper one. They're like, oh, we thought that one got lost after Daybreak Town.
Yeah, maybe.
And then
I mean,
Yua
considering,
starts hacking Humagear to spy on them, and it's like, hey, guess what? They have all this data to make progress keys.
yeah, I mean, this is one of those things where it just reminded me. It's like how the show was, right? It's like it's kind of insane down right now. Early on, stuff was happening. It's just a stupid. True, it wasn't stupid. The five challenges probably slowed down this show the most. But even then, it wasn't terrible. It was just like, oh yeah, this is the middle arc of like two good arcs on the other side, right?
Well, like my favorite thing about the special is it does connect all of the dots that we had that were, it tied up all the loose ends that were sitting around, pointed out that um Thouser's a lying sack of shit,
Yep,
and that I was right all along,
that's
and
true.
the surgery is when he had the crap implanted in him. So hooray
Yeah,
for
that's
me.
true.
So yeah, the whole
Also,
because and the
also,
whole point of that is you can't and you can't copy an AI.
well, I mean, Arto does it, but then again, he has a satellite, right?
He
Right.
literally
That
has
has the backup,
backups.
right? Yeah, which is
And it's
not the
not
same thing.
right
Yeah.
because he's not going around creating like 30 of the same one. He can't do that, but he can put the same one in different bodies at different times.
Well, yeah, that's also one of those annoying things that comes in like later on in the actual episode where it's like why didn't you just all right, we'll get to that when we actually talk
Um,
about this episode.
but because the way Thouser pointed it out, he's had the AI chip since the beginning because you have to have it to transform. Well, he obviously didn't
Right.
have it because you can't have real Naki around
Yeah,
playing.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's one of those things. It's like maybe he has a basic version which
He
doesn't
probably
allow
has like
like
the
mind
shot
control.
riser one that allows him to henshin. Yeah.
But
Right.
there's
But then again,
which
he
is
doesn't have
possible.
access to the key, so like they didn't want him to henshin. But then again, they call him the test subject, so it's like Fu is one of those things where it's like, okay, what do you want, show? Do you want
So
him just to be this crazy element that got introduced, or do you want Thouser and them to have planted it? Like even there, it's still a little bit of like, I don't know what the fuck
What was the
exactly
plan
happened.
here?
Yeah.
Well, from the way Thouser kind of made it out in the special was that Fua transforming was an eventuality, was not even close to being to the point where it actually happened. He basically went, "Hey, we've got a timetable. You'll do this. Will be a thing in 3 months." Oh shit, you're doing it now. Fuck.
All right, that's a good point. Like I could kind of see that because Thouser tends to make a lot of long running plans. But yeah, you're right. I could kind of buy that like he was eventually gonna pull in Fua because it's the same way how Naki had a driver, and like clearly he was gonna use Naki as like his enforcer, just like Yua is, right?
Right,
Just in
but
case he needed
Naki
it.
ended
But
up
then Naki betrayed him and gave the driver away.
right.
So we get throughout this special, like, Nagi is torn between Thouser's just like, you're just my tool, that's all you are, versus Hirobi saying, like, we are not humanity's tools, we are not their slaves. And we get this cool moment where Naki is asking Thouser, like, hey, Yua is human, what if she betrays you? And Thouser simply says, if a tool has lost its purpose, it gets thrown away.
Yeah, I mean, like the one really interesting part about the special is like how it kind of like contrasts like Hirobi and Thouser's characters. Whereas like Thouser is this fucking like super controlling but like abusive piece of shit. Whereas like Hirobi doesn't exactly have 100% going on, but he has like a lot of conviction, and he actually treats the Humagear nicely, which I mean, like you only see that with Jin, honestly, in the show, but like it's nice to see that like yeah, he treats Naki like pretty much the same. Which
Like
considering like Hirobi hasn't done fuck all for a couple of episodes, that was nice.
the thing that I find interesting with this show, and it's done really really beautifully, is aside from Thouser, all of the villains are very unique in their own right. But the fact of depending on which other villain they're interacting with, you can sit there and go, I kind of get it. You're not that bad of a guy.
Yeah,
Oh crap!
yeah,
I
it's
just identified with the villain. Shit.
well, uh, no, that's fair. I mean, that's
This is we literally end up playing the game of lesser of two evils.
right. I mean, like it's a mark of a good villain that you uh empathize with them, but not sympathize.
Right. Like, they have a point, but they're still wrong.
Right, exactly. It's like it's very Magneto. It's like okay, you can see what fucked this character up, and they have a decent enough point, but they're like going way too overboard with this.
So, when Naki learns about the Giga, the giant machines that haven't been brought up since that one episode, he actually questions Thouser about it, like, hey, why would you build that? Human gear already obey humans, why do you need scare tactics? And Thouser just kind of hits him and says, don't question me.
Huh. And you wonder why your pet bites you.
Well, to be fair, it's supposed to be a robot without feelings or anything, but like, yeah, you're right. Like the
Like
humans are way too realistic, so it's like you're an asshole.
right, and
Yeah.
well, that coupled with the fact that by that point Thouser was already beginning to suspect him, because by this point
We're
he'd
dropping
been
him, but I think Drago's like the actor prefers she, her pronouns, which is weird because agender, but well, not weird, but you know, let's go with that. Um,
I'm just gonna say Naki. That'll
yeah, I
be
know
fine
it's
because
easier
I'll
that
just
way.
fucking forget.
Yeah,
Um, but Thouser pretty much is already suspecting that Naki's, at least starting to think on by themselves, so that this whole reaction is literally just you're an ass.
right. I mean, like that's one of the other things is like, oh shit, it's a special, so they tend to show a lot more serious stuff. Whereas like in the show, it feels like Thouser is about to like throw down against Yua like every couple episodes, but like he never does anything. But in this one, he like straight up fucking like like slaps Naki, and she goes like straight to the floor, right? And then like you know the ending plus all the blood because oh shit, it's a special. We can use blood, right? But I'm like, it's still on the DVD. Like it's not a V cinema, but whatever, right? Like no television rating restrictions, so he can kind of go a little bit more crazy.
That was one of those
But yeah, like
they probably sat there and went, "We've got 30 seconds left to film. Oh yeah, we forgot the blood."
right. Like
Somebody
you
get the
can't do a
ketchup
color
bottle.
special with- Oh my god. Well, except make it blue this time.
Somebody get the
I mean,
ketchup bottle and the blue food coloring. Shit, it's
well,
purple.
I mean, to be, I mean, to be fair, they do have like the what is it, Hunts or Heinz colored ketchup because there's a bottle of green ketchup in my fridge, and it's normal. It's fine. It's not molded or old or anything like that.
It's
It was
just
designed.
it's
That's
just
true.
food coloring.
Really interesting.
There's an entire
It
Bob's
was
Burgers episode about it.
It was designed to make kids
Really?
happy to want to eat ketchup, I guess.
What the
Yeah, because you
Kids
know, kids are
already
all loving their greens.
Well, it. To be fair, it looks like a bottle of slime.
That's just what is okay, man. This is not the 90s anymore. Like enough with the slime shit. Like Nickelodeon can barely pull that shit off. Like stop it. This is what happened. Let fucking goddamn marketing boards decide basic shit. It's like it's ketchup. People like ketchup. They'll eat ketchup. You don't have to make it look like whatever.
I mean, if you're gonna do that with anything, do that with mustard.
So,
Dude, yeah, mustard, definitely agree. Horseradish, whatever. Must perfectly fine.
so getting back to the show here, sprinkled amongst the new content are like reused scenes to show us like, hey, this is when this scene is taking place. And the scene of Hirobi and Jin finally like revealing their destroyed ears still holds up. That is still a great scene.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's like even if like it's edited down a little bit, like it kind of cuts little bits of time out of it, and by little bits I mean very little bit of time. It's still an amazing scene, and still one of the best reveals that we've had in this show.
Like the entire time too, like because we were debating like, are they human or human gear? I kept saying like, show us your ears, and then they finally did, and it was great. So, we get like the whole like, okay, so now the Giga are attacking hospitals and infecting human gear, and we get Hirobi's like big debut as a rider as he's just kicking Fuwa's ass. And like spliced in between that is Nagi finally standing up to Thouser as he hits the singularity and realizes that like human gear shouldn't be humanity's tools. And oh my god, the editing is perfect.
Oh yeah, between that and the music for during that section is, in the words of Decade, it's perfect. Like they did an excellent job with every bit of that.
Zero?
Yeah, I mean, this episode, like, oh, the actual episode, not the special. Sorry, my bad. But yeah, the special shot super well, honestly. It's kind of shot slightly differently than the show, but it's a little bit more like the specials are shot, which is like a little more like early Heisei Rider, where it's a lot more closed in, lighting's a little more moodier, and stuff like that. So it kind of gives it more like I don't know, I don't want to say grown up feel, but like it's it's more like drama-esque, whereas like normal writer. Well, not this show. Honestly, this show is doing an okay job. Like Zero-One's doing an okay job. Zio was like way too fucking bright and happy for a writer show. Um,
Especially one that's like, hey, if you fuck up, you're gonna create a dystopia future.
yeah, I know, right? Like especially with the ending of like fuck everything's. No, it's not even worth it. Just
Nothing
run away.
mattered.
Right. It's 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 not a decade episode. It's not a decade crossover. It's a decade sub series,
And then you have a
right?
movie movie that literally goes, yeah, no, this whole era sucked. We're gonna redo it, and they
Oh
go,
my.
no, and that's it.
Oh man, Zero-One. Like we're never gonna stop. Well, I mean, to be fair, like it wasn't a bad show, but it's like it's so middle of the road
It
for the most part.
at no point prior to Decade showing up, and then even when Decade showed up, it couldn't follow its own rules. It couldn't follow its own plan, and it just became a glorified nostalgia trip that, in the words of using the villain's reasoning for the movie of, it's just bad writing, bad characterizations, and it's a jumbled mess.
Right. I mean, like the best arc for Zero, and then as Zio is like white walls, and that's like what like
Either
30-40% the way through the show, and it's
for
like
me,
one tiny ass arc.
it would be either White Waz or when it officially declares itself as Decade Season 2.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't count. Those guys are always so good since their show ended.
That's
Um,
that's my point. That's about the point where the series actually got good outside of the White Waz.
yeah, that's a good. Anyway, we're like way the fuck off track. Uh, so any
So,
more thoughts on the special?
yeah. So the whole thing ends when, like, Thouser said, alright, if Naki's gonna rebel against me, then I have no use for him anymore, and just pulls out a gun and shoots Naki.
Of all the ways he could have done that, it had to be a pistol,
Like,
and not just any pistol, a fucking revolver.
remember, episode 1, we were just like, wait, is Jin holding a real gun? What? And now we have this? It's like, you want to increase this
Yeah,
tension in any scene, just have a character pull out a gun and actually use it.
and actually use it. Yeah, honestly, like I actually do love Thouser's revolver. I mean, one like revolver because like why he doesn't need a fucking semi-auto. He's a right. Like two, revolver because it leaves no blanks. I mean, case right. Um, Plus, I love how like he just walks back, puts it in his pocket, and then like just sits down on the chair.
It's like, huh.
Like,
Oh, Fu is in the hospital? Yeah,
This
okay,
works.
I can work with this. Hey, Naki, you still have some use after all.
Hey, look at that, Naki. You're still my bitch.
So
he's
yeah,
such a piece of shit. But like,
putting the
at
AI
least
chip in
he,
Fu's brain was just a spur of the moment decision.
yeah, it's also weird because it's like, I guess the thing was like, oh, I can use this to control Fua, but I'm like, Naki already betrayed you. Like, why would this ship listen to you?
It alter its programming
Little
now
bit of
that the
like,
machine is shut down. Like, I assume there was a lot more going on than just putting the AI chip in someone's brain.
I, yeah, I kind of see that.
Like, it kind of equate it to the same thing as G-Pen not remembering everything when he first came back.
Yeah, it's a good point. Okay, so we're gonna go into the episode, but before that, let's just read all the damn
Yeah, it's
comments.
comments time. What do we got?
So unclaimed username. This is on episode 31, so the one before this. Oh yeah, they're just talking that it was so trippy seeing like Assassin Chan back again.
Right?
When like
That was
Like,
right,
great.
like that
like
was so good.
of
So
all the
good.
human gear.
Right. I mean, like he's a fan favorite. That's probably
Like
yeah.
he for a while he was the best character on the show.
Well, characters, but yeah, but yeah, you're right. Um. Anyway, and then on episode 30, they're talking about in defense of base form 01, handling Thouser and the Krabi crew. He was a lot dodgier than he usually is. He kept his distance most of the time, and he didn't directly engage style,
I
dispatching
want
the
to say
guards.
we actually read that
Yeah,
comment
that
last week
yeah we did.
Oh, did we?
because I recall having
Yes.
this conversation.
Alright.
That one did get read because I read it.
Yeah, and then there's that. Yeah, okay. So there's that long one about like Fua's henshin. We should talk about this
Which
because the tweet just came.
I think we did talk about it, or at least
No, we
I at
talked
least
about
read
it
it.
after. Yeah, no, we talked about it after the stream. So we
Okay.
didn't read it on the air. Um,
It's
and
great.
this is on yeah, episode 29 by unclaimed username. I like how this is now the second time Guy has created a progress key from Arc data with the intent of controlling someone, only for the user to kick it. And then you
You know,
interesting.
now
Pretty
that you
sure that
mention it,
Arcade's Guy. Yeah,
now that you mention it, that is a recurring pattern, isn't it?
right.
I would say it's Yua's turn next.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait.
it sure is. Like he's gotten his ass kicked by like literally every writer in this show.
Like, he keeps making
Well,
the hero stronger, and then they keep kicking his ass. I don't understand what the problem is.
Literally
yeah,
at this point, the only writer who has not kicked his ass is literally Yua, because Hirobi did it, Jin did it, Zero-One did it, and Fua did it.
I think like Hirobi was like a stalemate, but yeah, pretty much everybody else won.
No, he beat him because Hirobi fought him twice. In the second one, he literally, dude, we learned. What are you doing?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's a good.
You are exactly the same. I am smarter.
Yeah, pretty good. Right. So their comment goes, "I'm pretty sure Ark hates Guy in particular." It's pretty true.
That would make sense because kill all humans.
Well, humans, especially the idiot humans,
Especially the
like
one who
idiots,
made me
like
hate all humans.
right. Speaking of which, some things they old style combos are great stuff. We didn't get to see the element rampage, but it was flaming tiger, freezing bear, sting scorpion, and so on. So it's going to be great.
We
Uh,
ooze now.
the gorilla lariat was amazing. The camera work, the single shot of Fua swinging Yaiba around, that tracking shot, the fact that
That
she cracked the ground on impact, just pure poetry in
I don't know if
motion.
we've said in a while, but the camera work in this series is super on
is
point.
Yeah,
like
especially
it's
like the
been
last couple.
like the camera work has been getting better as the series have been going on, and I feel like Zero-One specifically learned a lot from like a lot of the camera work in XA that was amazing was more of like the uh symbolism shots and whatnot. Is like, but there were a lot of good
Yeah,
tracking shots in it. And then
right.
I
Like
think
actually had a lot of experimental stuff too.
but I think they learned a lot from Q Ranger and Lupin Ranger specifically with a lot of their tracking shots, the movable cameras, the cameras that spin through the middle of a fight.
I mean, yeah, they've started using drones and stuff.
and they're
which you
getting.
can clearly see because these shots are insane. To
Oh yeah,
do
and they're
going into the
getting, and they're getting much better, much more cleaner.
Yep. Okay. Their comment continues. The fact that after all the flashy combo attacks, his full rampage is just one huge fuck off bullet. Like everything else is for the show, and he can just whip out the BFG for the cool stuff.
That was great.
Yeah. And then they start going into this interesting theory about like Fua's henshin.
Which
So
ended up
for your
being entirely accurate as per
right, so
the
I'm
actor
just gonna
himself.
read what they say and then the tweet. Punch it.
Okay, you're breaking up.
So it's the punching Khan backhands. Sorry, punching Khan backhands the bullet. Fool learns the truth of Daybreak and that it's not all human gear that are a threat. Assault Wolf catches the bullet. Fua's life has been and set of feelings down. Rampage
Okay, so
Gatling. One,
you've been cutting out a lot throughout that, but I
uh,
want to say we talked about this already.
bullet.
We did after the episode,
Oh,
after the
after.
podcast.
Okay.
Actively defend the human gear and tag one who did his left position towards human gear pretty nicely. And then after that, they just say, anyway, stay safe. Don't know how Arta is gonna stay the main character, but hopefully the next couple episodes will be eventful. I'm like, oh boy, episode 29 to now. Yep. Yeah. Now
Like, honestly, that is still an applicable statement, though, because at this point, Aruto could just kind of step aside and let some of the other writers take the stage for a couple episodes.
Like, it literally, if not for the fact that he is literally zero, that could easily happen. But, you know, you can't let the main character not be in a fight anymore.
Yeah, that's super annoying.
Like that's what I liked about
Agito, but
it happened in Agito a fair bit, because Gills would go off and fight somebody, G3 would go off and fight somebody, another Agito was kicking somebody else's ass. Hell, it happened in Blade a fair bit too, until it got towards the end of that, and Blade went, "Screw you, I'm a Joker now."
We lost him. He's back.
Welcome back.
yeah, sorry, my audio wasn't working, but spoilers, bro. But I guess at this point, literally everybody in Rider knows about Blade is the Kenzaki shit. So, I mean, not Kenzaki.
And to be fair, while that
Blade,
is, and to be fair, while that is a major spoiler for the show, just kind of spouting it off, nobody's gonna figure that out, and most people will forget by the time they get around to watch it.
Yeah, I was also gonna say like literally every other thing that Blade shows up in after Blade has that spoiler, so it's like, well, you can't even avoid that.
Right. The only reason Pixie avoided it is because I forgot to show her the Go Rider special in X-Ed.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Where he literally shows up and goes, "I'm the Joker."
Yeah,
Screw
it's
you.
like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, that's not me.
So but yeah, and again, how old is that series?
2004? Like 16 years old.
Plus.
Yeah, so bite me.
Yeah, no, like,
Right,
it's an old enough series at this point.
Like, I try not to spoil Drive and Blade, any of the post-decade stuff.
But
I try not to spoil most of post decade.
Like, I don't want to spoil Blade's ending because it's the best ending, but at the same time, if you're gonna talk about Blade, that's what you're gonna talk about.
Right.
Well,
I mean, there's
well,
some other shit you can talk about, but you kind of have to know a lot more writer to talk about it because that's like comparing and contrasting. But like if you're just talking about a show
It's
and
like,
it happened to be Blade you're talking about, you're definitely gonna be
right,
talking about Blade.
because, like, anything you talk about with Blade's story, it's everything, it all just leads up to that ending, which is one of the things that makes it so good.
aside from I'm a very, very sad man, please don't leave me, I'm gonna eat a puzzle piece.
Hey,
Oh, yeah, I guess there's also Tachibana.
hey, Tachibana is great.
Yes, starting in the
Yes.
second season, or arc, rather.
No, man, I don't know. I actually like Tachibana. Like
Like,
Tachibana was my favorite
yes, like,
all the way through.
on a second
But that's
watch through, the first arc was really good. But on the first watch through, oh man, my thing is shaking real hard. On a first watch through, the first arc was actually really rough because, and one of the reasons was because Tachibana has already been going through his decline, so you have no context for what he was like at his best.
All we have is the most emo writer ever.
I mean, I think that's probably why I kind of like him because he's so different from like standard main guy.
Which,
Like compare him to like any main writer, which is like okay, shit's going down, but I'm still mostly like. And it's
like,
like Tachibana's like a normal human being. It's like fuck this, I'm going to die. I don't want to fucking deal with this shit.
which is very, very accurate and very, very realistic, but I side with the fact of that should have happened a little later in the series. Give him time of
Yeah.
being, the, you know, ass kicking badass, and then have him face his mortality.
But
Right. I guess it also depends on like what show you watch before Blade before you jump into Blade.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
because
like uh, depending on like I think I was probably watching a show which was a lot more like oh bad shit happens to the main cast and then you go to
Oh,
Blade and
thighs?
Tachibana is just dealing with that. It's like yeah, well I don't remember if it was Fies, but
for
it
me it
could have
was.
been.
Like, I was
Like
watching them in
like
order, so I went Kuga, Agito, Ryuki, Faiz, and then I get to Blade, and I'm like, huh, this is really different.
yeah. Well, maybe I
And,
don't know.
and
I think I went
to
like Ryuki, Fies. I'm not sure if I watched Blade or not, but I know it's like maybe Blade and then Hibiki. I know at some point like shit got real fucking sad because I was watching all the sad ending shows, and then I'm like, fuck this, and then just go watch Hibiki. It's like okay, yeah, good. I can go back to being happy now. Um, yeah. So I don't know if Blade was in that batch, but I know it was like Ryuki, Five, and then like maybe one other show. Oh no, I think it was like Agito, Ryuki, Five, and then like fuck it, shit's all fucked now. Um, you gotta go watch like um Hibiki because like Hibiki is like the most like happy, fun one in the beginning, honestly. Well, I mean, like some
It's,
other shows are like
I would say if you're looking for
fun, but
something, for some lighthearted fun, I would say watch Deno.
yeah, I tried. I couldn't get past this episode. Like I don't know, something about Deno just rubs me the wrong way. It's mostly because I don't watch that much comedy stuff, so I'm like
Oh,
I don't need
yeah.
humor,
If you're not
right?
into humor, then don't watch Deno.
Yeah, like it's not too bad. Like if I watch it now, it'd probably be okay. But like it's one of those things where it's like I don't need my writer to be overly comedic. I think it's because like after Deno, like they started adding way more humor into writer because like oh shit, Deno's
Yeah,
popular, and
Deno
I've
was
seen how
super
bad that's
popular.
been. Right, and I've seen how bad the forced comedy in later shows after Deno was. So I'm like, I don't need
Oh
a
god, the
full show of
first
this.
episode of Xaid.
all right.
Oh god.
To kind of get this all back on track, we have a comment from Springtime Bonnie. It says, technically, Guy has made 3 progress keys for the heroes and Henshin Belt.
We got Metal Cluster Hopper, Rampage Gatling. What was the other one?
I guess Yua was.
He made Yuan Fuas, which would be both of those. And at this point, I myself am throwing all of Fua's crap under one key.
Like, I want to establish the difference between keys that already existed versus ones that he specifically made to give to the heroes. Like, the fight, like the Rushing Cheetah and Lightning Hornet, those progress keys already existed when he gave them to Yua. And I won't say the Fighting Jackal key did as well. I don't think he specifically made that for her. We saw him make Metal Cluster Hopper. We saw him make Rampage Gatling. We didn't see anything for Fighting Jackal except he gave it to her.
Well, based on that case, he kind of technically made Assault Wolf. Because he did make the attachment that goes for it. Well, he had the Arc make it.
Metsubo Jinrai didn't do that?
Burning Falcon and Slash Riser.
What? He made those? When did he make those?
I'm waiting for a response to that. So, Springtime Bonnie, please let us know.
All we know is that Jin showed up and had them. And like we don't know who rebuilt Jin because if Aruto did it, Jin wouldn't be evil. If the Arc did it, Jin would be evil, and if Thouser did it, we'd have a lot of questions about Thouser's motives.
Yeah, there's no chance it's Thouser because like Jin straight up hates Thouser.
And also, Thouser's whole thing is the human gear should be scrapped. Why would he make more?
Naki did it.
Maybe I don't know, but the problem there becomes it's like
if Naki did it,
Naki doesn't. No, because
Naki would only do it under instruction because they were only following orders. Right, so it couldn't have been the Arc or Thouser in that case. And if it is one of those, if it is any of these answers, then none of the Jin's character arc makes sense because how did Jin break free of it?
Right, exactly. Like the thing with Naki freeing Hirobi makes sense because like Jin control.
Yeah, Jin was the one who gave Naki those instructions. That makes sense. Jin wants to liberate the human gear. Hirobi was in prison.
Right. I'm feeling like whoever rebuilt Jin is either going to be like some major reveal later in like the next arc or something, or it's going to be in a special.
So there is going to be a part 2 to this special. I imagine it'll cover a lot of Naki possessed Fua going around handing out the raid risers to people.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing too. Because like at this point, like the specials seem to be not any of what the hell Naki was doing because it would spoil the whole show.
I wouldn't be surprised if they also like gave us the explanation for how Jin came back through that.
All right, so we've got a response about the key and Slash Riser. It says in the scans it does state that basically that Jin stole the Slash Riser and the key.
Okay, that would make sense.
Which, given the look of the Slash Riser, makes sense that Zaya would have made it.
Yeah,
it is very similar to the gun. And actually, no, I will give it credit because he went to use it and I forget who he transformed in front of, but no, I think it might have been Thouser or right in front of Jaiba, but whoever he transformed in front of literally went, how do you have that?
Yeah, okay. So Jin stole it from Thouser or Zaya. That works.
Jeff, technically, guy.
Still don't know who rebuilt Jin though.
Well, but the thing is, like, if he stole it from Thouser, that means it's gonna show up in a spec.
If this
Right.
if this whole thing about who rebuilt him ends up being a let's give it out in project 2 or 3 of this, I'm gonna be a little upset.
See, that's what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
Though.
Right. So like I'm like
I'm just gonna lower my hope right now.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, if he gets rebuilt and it's on the side thing, like, one, that's the type of dumbass shit Toei has been pulling for the last couple years, so yeah. But two, if it's not revealed in the special and it's revealed in the show, it's gonna be somebody crazy. Right? It's gonna be someone we don't know or somebody like we know and have known for a while, but they've been in the background. So like it's gonna be that shit in I'm thinking if we get a reveal in the show. Because if it's a new thing, like a new group, it's like, oh shit. This is a whole new entity we have to deal with because like this just got much bigger. Or
it'll be
if
Izu.
it's someone in the background, then it's like holy shit, now you have to rewatch the whole show to figure out what the fuck they've been doing.
It is one of those that'll go through. It'll probably end up either being Izu or the vice president.
Yeah, so I'm guessing it could be the vice president.
It would be that off the wall.
Like,
well, it's either going to be the vice president or it's going to be Arto's grandpa, but unlikely.
Actually, you say that, and then like the sparks just fly out of my head of like, what?
Because the sad thing is, you can picture either one of them.
No, I can't picture Izu at all.
Oh, Izu, yeah. Izu is very unlikely.
Here's the main reason, the only reason why it's even a remote possibility is because we're now 32 episodes in and we have had no hint of what they hint at in the opening.
Oh, right. That the supposed evil Izu.
Well, you have to also remember that, like, Izu did get hit, like, attacked with one of those, like, mind controlling
by Jin.
Tentacle things. Yeah, by Jin, but it went like right through her. But the thing is, like, well, technically you could say it infected her. It's unlikely, but it's possible.
It literally gave us the easiest setup.
If this turns into some convoluted evil plan of like, I knew I would die eventually, so I planted a program inside of you so that you would revive me if I ever died, and then completely forget about it. Like,
it'll literally be.
I don't think it'll be that, but I don't think Jin was that developed. But like maybe he was trying to infect her with like the Matsubara.
You know what I want that to turn into? You know, if there is like the whole evil Izu thing is real, you know what I want to get out of that? I want there to be
the driver.
I want there to be some kind of like program inside of Izu that is making her evil, and like I don't care what the evil thing is, but like there's some evil thing, they need to stop it, but they can't destroy the code without Izu because it's that wired into her, and so Aruto has to destroy Izu.
Oh god.
Instead of using
we're not pulling a wizard, bro.
No, that's what I want. If there's gonna be an evil Izu, then that's what I want it to be.
Which unfortunately, they'll kill Yua off before they kill Izu.
Yeah, it's true. Well, here's the thing: Izu already died and came back. Two, she has no backup, but like she's fine. Also, Jin had no backup, and he's so like even if they kill Izu, the show will bring her. But you're right; it'd be way more interesting if it's like shit. She's got no backup, and she's evil now. I have to take it. Or you know, if Izu, I mean, it's possible she might self-sacrifice, but again.
But not like I can to justify the vice president. I can see him going.
Yeah,
no, we're gonna lose because Thouser's a piece of shit. So we're gonna rebuild Jin because Jin wants to kick Thouser's ass because he wants to free all the human gears. He thinks human gears are tools. It's a perfect plan. What could go wrong? He seems that dumb. And give me any part of the show where he didn't look
He
that
also
dumb.
doesn't seem that clever.
That's true too. I gotta give you that one too. That does work both ways.
So getting in.
He's it's one of those, he's dumb enough to do it, but not smart enough to do it.
So getting to the actual episode. Naruto's next client is a manager for a fashion show, and specifically a fashion model Humagear, Delmo. We lost Zero again. There he is. I don't need to say that anymore because people can just see it now. So she's supposed to appear on a runway, but she got shut off in the middle of a photo shoot. And so now they want Aruto to restore her. Great, sure, Aruto is super willing to do that. But also, he's worried about Zaya after the shakedown and all that. So Fuwa is now the Humagear bodyguard.
Which, damn, did I not realize he was there.
Yeah, it's a super secret ability of just being there.
Like, the camera angles just don't show him.
Like, the entire time, like, the only you see him at 2 points. One, you see his foot shake, because obviously that's who it was when the pun got made. And then when the next shot, when it's showing the manager over on the other side of the room and everybody else standing right here, you can see, like, hit the back side of his body.
Actually, you can see his face as Aruto is about to make the pun, too. Because Aruto leans forward
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I just rewatched it now. I had the clip playing. Aruto leans forward to put the key by the blank Humagear's ear. You can see Fua's face as he's watching. And then Aruto leans back and covers him up again. Yeah, no, I just watched it.
Yeah, so again, like, whoever the hell directed this episode did such an amazing job. This whole episode has so many, like, amazing little moments. But go ahead, Bashi.
But, like, it's done in a very, very slick kind of way. Oh, that, yeah, we're gonna show you he's here, but we're not gonna show you he's here. Like,
right.
he literally missed their background.
Yeah, right. Like, that's the amazing thing. Like, this is more like, it's got a little bit of comedy and a little bit of a misdirection going on, but it's done so damn well. And the thing is, like, it's so easy just to shoot the scenes for, like, okay, well, this character has to be here, so there, and this is happening, right? But, like, that's generally how writers shot. It's very matter of, but, like, that's boring as fuck. But the way this episode's shot, like, everything has personality. Like, Fu was in the scene. Just because you don't focus on him doesn't mean he's not in this, right?
Right,
and you see clear shots of him being there. And, like, later on when he's like looking for the model Humagear, Demo. And then he's like going through like the dressing rooms and he like opens the wrong one, right? Like normally it'd be like him just running around like, oh, they're not there, whatever. But like small shit like that adds so much more personality. And then like when like Aruto's on the runway and he has like no idea what the fuck he's.
Oh yeah, it's like there are moments
like,
in the show.
There's so much personality with whoever directed this and shot it.
And it's one of those, like, this is all real, all characters and scripted and everything happens exactly as designed to. It's like, but these are the little moments that really humanize the characters, and you feel that they're real people when they react the right way and the way that their characters are designed to react, and it doesn't come across as scripted. Despite the fact that it's extremely scripted. It's more scripted than WWE.
So,
yeah.
The director for this episode was...
Especially like the henchmen and stuff.
The director for this episode was Ryuta Tasaki. He's just a director for Toei. Even like does some Power Rangers. Does some episodes here and there. He's dipped his foot into a lot of different series. One notable example would be that he did the last two episodes of Fies.
Oh, those are really good episodes.
Those are good. Uh, Also impressive because Fi's last like 3 episodes are like season 2 of Fi's with. So like I'm impressed that like he managed to pull that shit off.
Yeah, remember that he's
Man,
just the
also like
director though.
since
He's not the writer.
Fi's, that's a long ass.
Oh, in fact, he directed Paradise Lost.
Holy shit. Okay. Yeah. Right. There's your answer of why shit looks interesting when people around. Fucking directed Paradise Lost.
He also
Jesus Christ, man.
directed.
Paradise Lost is like the best.
He also directed The
I mean,
Next.
then okay, like the next has really good acting. It's got like crap dialogue, so I'm like I can't blame the director. It's shot well. It's just got terrible writing. Um, well, that's not true. Like the fucking editing is garbage too because like they're like mixing like 3 different plots at once. But like if you unjumble the fucking editing and you put it in a linear order, that movie like wait. No, I guess even the first and the next both have that. But yeah, it's shot like the next is shot really well. It's not a good.
But hey, Paradise Law. Yeah, this guy's just the director. He's not the writer for anything.
I mean, I'm guessing it's a TV show, so they probably don't have like cinematographers, because otherwise, then like the scenes would go for that. But like it's considering it's Toei, I doubt they're spending the money to hire a cinematographer. Like the director is probably doing like directing the actors and shooting the like how to shoot the scenes and stuff. So good job, director.
So, the Humagear, Delmo or Damo? What is it?
Delmo.
Okay.
Delmo, yeah. It's Delmo. So she's very proactive and upbeat. She's reached the singularity. Uh, she is very proud that she is a Humagear. And Naruto actually brings up in his discussion of like, hey, how come you don't hide your ears when you model, like this actor Humagear does? And she goes, because I'm proud that I'm Humagear. Actors pretend to be different people than who they are. I'm not doing that though.
Like, and that was a good line because it was both a nod to the actor Humagear being able to do what he does, but also kind of a jab at him too.
I saw it as like understanding of like he does
Right,
that
and
because that's what he does. That's
right.
what actors do, and I took it as very non-accusatory of like, yeah, that's how it is for them. If that's not how it is for me.
Right. And it's like, and this is one of those things where it played it either way, and it would have came across natural because she does have that air of I don't give two shits for a good portion of this
Right.
episode.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
honestly, like she has like a really good balance of like I don't give a shit and no, I know what I'm talking about. Like
right, and
she's such an interesting character.
right is like because she spends a good portion of it literally going, I don't give a damn, and then also the I'm gonna do what I do because it's what I want to do and it's the right thing to do. Deal with it.
Oh, dude, go ahead.
Sorry, were you gonna say something, Zero?
Oh no, I was gonna talk about something later on, but Vashi,
Oh no, I was done with my comment.
yeah. What I was gonna say is like she's such an interest. especially like lately the human gear, like it's interesting that like everybody kind of learns a lesson from the human gear, and like Arto's kind of been doing it, helping them, and they're helping him throughout the whole show, and like Fua kind of learned to like see them more as equals, sort of, as the show's gone on. Like now it's like Yaiba's turn. Like every single one that shows up, like basically like questions Yaiba because like Yaiba's a human that's acting like an AI, right? And then the AIs are like, what is this bullshit, right? Like they're acting way more human, especially this human year. Like just like forces Yaiba to like confront all the BS she's had to put up with. Like such an also the thing I was actually going to talk about is like right.
You're breaking up.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to talk about like the look of the warehouse,
Um,
hiding in the boxes, and then they're
yeah,
running
okay.
away.
Yeah, okay,
Okay.
you're still breaking up. Okay. Uh, but yeah, a couple of guys from Ames detect two human gears and like, hey, the deadline for deactivating them has passed, so we'll scrap them for you. Uh, and yeah, this is just super illegal at this point since they don't own human gear anymore, and I don't think Thouser passed that information on to his team. I don't think he actually told them.
No, I don't think he did either. Which makes entirely way too much sense. Um, it yeah, I love the responses. No, you're not. There's no humor gear here. I don't know what you're talking.
Human gear walks out the door.
That's bullshit. Oh man, like at first I'm like, okay, that's a little bit arrogant, but like as the show goes on, I mean the episode goes on, like it kind of justifies her episode, um, her attitude in the episode. But damn, I love how like they're just standing in front of their building. I'm like, yeah, there's no Yugi. I'm like, okay, like even if you bluff and like everybody believes you, Izu still there's a minimum of one,
Right.
right?
There's
Like at
guaranteed a
all
minimum
times.
of one.
So, when Fua goes to Henshin, though, Yua jumps in, takes the shot riser to force him to change into what was it?
Assault wolf.
Assault Wolf, and just that we occasionally get the like whole one character activates the rider belt for the person, but like in this unique case of the rider belt is a gun and so Yua's pointing a gun at him.
The and this is specifically just because I noticed it. Her wearing the safety glasses was funny to me.
Just in case
What?
he punches it back.
I mean, to be fair,
Oh,
she is wearing proper eye protection because you're supposed to wear. Well, if you're at a shooting range, anyways, you're supposed to wear the
right.
goggles and the earmuffs.
See, I thought that was originally like, oh, she's wearing the goggles because she's gonna shoot him, and like the goggles will help her see Naki. But then it doesn't, so I'm like, oh, that's cool. I guess you're just changing up the look.
Like it was interesting. It's like, but yeah, it's like this literally in any other case this would be murder, but it's just a transformation, and it's very unique. Though I'm sorry, my favorite one is still the one from O's.
Hey, I have a question though. What is Hidden Intelligence doing?
Hidden intelligence or nothing, I guess. Trying to connect to a satellite. They can't get their internet up and running.
It's like Thouser bought an entire company so that he could shut down their product, but like if they're not making human gear anymore, then what are they doing?
They're
Well, I
having
mean, he
they're
still
working
owns
their IT
Zaya,
problem.
Like,
right?
yeah, no. Thouser still owns Zaya and Ames and still has those businesses running. What is Hidden Intelligence doing? What is this new subsidiary for?
I
To
well, I
run around
mean,
and collect the human gear.
That's
yeah,
what
I was
Ames
gonna
is
say
for.
that, right? Well, I mean, maybe they're using their databases and shit, but you're right. Like, it's a whole company with nothing to do. But I'm like, Thouser is like hyper capitalist, so he's like, whatever, man. I just bought out a competitor. I don't have to fucking use you,
Fucking
right?
liquidate your assets already.
Right, pretty much. Like, I actually he did. He shut down their production.
Exactly, but they're still using that building. Like, the vice president's still there. Everyone is
Well,
still
I mean,
there
they
except
own the
Naruto.
building. It's not like they're paying, right? Like, it's not like they have to give a shit. It's weird. I think it's just because they want access to satellite data, but yeah, like, why is there even a board? I guess it's because, like, there's too much money tied into the company, so even if they, like, straight up shut it down, like, it'd be a loss for Zaya. So they're just pretending like, oh, we're gonna develop something else. I mean, maybe they're
Oh, I just realized what they're
producing
doing.
the.
Yeah, the Zaya specs are probably he's probably got them making those now in mass quality. Also the raid risers for like the Ames people.
Well, I mean, there's only like two of them that I think.
They only
Right,
use
but
two at a
his
time, but he has a team of them since the Ames
and
division uses them now.
the original idea was to give them to everybody.
So yeah, he's probably like mass
Yeah,
producing
we're
Zaya
going
specs and
down.
raid risers and like fucking Zetsumarai's keys.
So he's just secretly just gonna change the name from Hidan to like
Exact.
Yggdrasil now. Oh, Zach would no Ames is uh Hidan and Brain. Now they're just gonna mass produce Rider belts, so they're just gonna change their name to Yggdrasil. Because that's like Gaim Endgame. I was like, yeah, we only have enough resources to produce 1 billion. I'm like, what about the other six? You
No, we can't make enough though. And like that guy was
yeah, we
totally
can
right,
produce a
right?
billion rider belts, but fuck it.
Like
I guess we can't stop this war with a billion rider belt.
the problem was that Tagatora wanted to save literally everyone. And rather than whereas Sid was just more concerned about preserving humanity.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid. It's like they're like Gaim tries to go for like impact value a couple of times. It's just like way the fuck like overcompensate. Like literally, didn't like all of America get nuked in Gaim at one point?
No,
And
no.
like nobody ever brings it up.
What happened was one of the invests showed up in Japan and announced on worldwide television of like, I'm the boss of this city now, I'm gonna rule the world. And so America's immediate response was to nuke that city in Japan, and that guy just like blows up the nukes in the air.
Oh, okay. No, I
Man, they're really
I
mad
remember
at
them redirecting a bunch of.
Japan is really mad about that still, is aren't they? I mean,
Uh,
rightfully
Like,
so. Rightfully so. But
yeah. Look, any country would be okay. Here's the thing, right? Like, you get two
oh,
fucking nukes dropped on you, you get
are
the
we
right.
getting political here?
No, I was gonna say like if you get you be mad about that for right? Uh, yeah, whatever. I mean, like we could get political, but let's.
no, I was just making a
Um,
joke. Let's move along.
All right. So So by changing him to Assault Wolf, it helps force Naki out to put Fua under their control. So Fuwa just kind of flip flops this episode between being a human gear and being a human, as Naki tries to confront the idea of like, is it okay for human gears to dream? Jin kidnaps Fuwa at one point to give Naki a counseling session to encourage him to reach the singularity.
That was such a great moment, but I'm also like, Jin, just tie him to a chair, you idiot.
So
Right?
there's a little something a little bit funny about that is he didn't Fuwa did a small interview or video behind the scenes thing, and he talked about that scene where he basically tells Jen to go shove it. The prop he was wearing wasn't really the most durable thing, so he couldn't just like chuck it. But he at the same time he's like, I can't just like calmly set it down. That's very out of character. So he ended up breaking it. When he shoved Jin, and you can actually see it in the episode, when he shoved Jin, he shoves him computer off. That's behind him. And he's like, in true to form, Jin just rolled with it.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Which is, I mean, it's kind of nice that like a lot of actors are tweeting out what the fuck they're doing. They've been a lot more silent in the previous years, but at least they're letting them talk now. I mean, then again, like because of the pandemic and stuff, a lot of actors are being more active. Or, I mean, former actors are being more active, just like the last time with the freaking Fukushima nuclear disaster stuff. Like a lot of Toku actors were pretty active back then, so it's cool that they're doing that here.
But like the big thing with this that threw me off when the whole scene started was Jin literally just drops in, goes, "Don't worry, I got this. Trust me." And Naruto goes, "Okay, buddy."
Well, I mean, to be fair, like Jin trusted him the last couple episodes, so he's probably just returning the favor. Besides, what the fuck is Naruto gonna do?
Which is a fair thing. It's like, but Jin literally has flat out said, "Is like, yes, Thouser's a piece of shit, but I still want what I want. You're the better option to get what I want, so I will work with you." It's not so much the fact of yes, we're now buddy and help, and let's help everybody. It's no, I'm gonna do what I need to get what I want.
I mean, yeah,
in the words I used to clarify between like Jin and Thouser, Jin is literally looking at Thouser and Naruto and going, lesser of two evils.
Yeah, pretty much. To be fair, like the Jin bit in this episode is good, but it's like it just comes out of nowhere and then it just kind of ends. Well, I mean, it leads to setup for next episode, but like, yeah, it just literally comes out of nowhere. So it is probably the worst stuff, but it's gonna set up something really so damn good.
And so Yua goes to take out Demo personally and leads her into an ambush with some Ames worker, and so Fuwa kind of has to show up himself. Fuwa and Naruto have to show up to take care of that, and Thouser himself shows up because he's like, hey, it's super important we scrap this one because of my public image. And then when Fuwa does show up, Thouser's like, hey, Naki, hey, get in on this. And then Nagi turns his gun on Thouser and shoots him instead.
Which, if you watch Thouser, it adds so much more weight to this moment because it's literally that's 100% karma coming back.
1,000%.
This is literally you get what you give. You killed me, you shot me, I'm gonna shoot you.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch Thouser first, and I should have.
Oh, yeah. See, I saw Thouser first, and I'm like, oh, that works perfectly well.
Yeah,
You're
no.
right. If you haven't seen the episode or the special, people are like, what the fuck are you guys talking? So there's like a DVD extra that's like basically the episode. It's Naki and Thouser's backstory. Watch that. It's really important for this episode.
Like
Um,
to be fair, it's
oh,
important to the last handful of episodes, just like, but more so with this particular episode, because we literally see start and, for lack of a better term, finish of that. Him literally going from a tool to fuck you, I am myself. And at that point, you've literally seen both characters do it, both Naki and Fua. So it's that, and it's also that good point of Fua going, you know what? I'm accepting human gears, like, completely, in this aspect of they're not bad.
You don't need a dream.
Innately.
You are my tool. I am a Humagear, but I am not a tool. And then you what undoes her transformation on that note of like, what is a tool?
As of lately, her.
Uh, and
oh
Nagi's
man,
like,
so
it's
true.
okay for Humagear to dream. I don't know what my dream is, but I want to make other Humagear's dreams come true.
Oh
And
god, I
they,
despise all of
yeah,
it.
they plead for someone to make Delmo's dream come true because her leg got damaged, so she can't walk down the runway. And so Izo decides,
Oh, that is
I will
so
go in her
stupid.
place.
Yeah, see, that's a cute moment, but I'm like, this is you could literally just take out Izu's freaking chip and then put, or not chip, but program temporarily and substitute that human gear body for Devo, and like Devo could literally walk down the damn runway, but no, we can't do that. I mean,
See,
like, it's cute that Izu gets to walk there, but like, kind of stupid because like we literally saw like last episode, you can just use multiple human gear personalities. Um,
so the thing
with
that
the same body.
the thing I have expected was kind of what I thought they were going for, was because, like, when she gets injured, she drops that little metal massager thing. I have expected them to go, oh, we can make this down and fix your leg, because there's a
Oh,
long moment of them looking at that while they're deciding
yeah.
what to do, and I'm like,
Honestly, I thought they were going to put Delmo on some kind of cart or wagon and like push her down the runway.
I love
Like
how we
make a
all
little
have like
show of it
different
as she
takes of what was going. Yeah,
stands there and does the all the arm poses and such.
right. Hell, I would have been fine with like Izu doing it. She just beams all the data to Delmo because like it's an AI. What difference does one camera input, I mean, matter if it's from your eyes or if it's coming wirelessly from somewhere else, right? Like
That's kind of
for
what they
them,
went
it
with.
looked the same. Yeah, I know, but I think they were just piping the audio. But yeah, if they were doing visual too, it would make sense.
The audio was the important part
Um,
because that's what Delmo
she that's
likes.
yeah, that was her reason for doing all this.
She likes
it,
the applause.
The reaction from the crowd,
The applause. Applause. Applause.
the applause, the music, all of it.
okay.
So for
Um,
her, it was more the pageantry of it.
And Aruto
yeah.
doesn't know how to walk down a runway.
I mean,
Does I
to
don't
be
know
fair,
anything.
no. I think the only thing he knows at this point is
I
and
mean,
what to do with that company, because it took him 32 episodes to figure that shit out.
to be fair, he never wanted to be president, so that's fine. Also, I was gonna say the one thing he knows how to do is coordinate hoodies with fucking goddamn suits with neon sneakers. But I'm pretty sure that's like premium Bandai figuring that out for him.
I like the idea that his first act as president of his grandfather's company that he just inherited, and so now he has like a company credit card is to tailor some custom-made light green shoes.
That was
Oh
one of the
my.
best things that we noticed for episode 2.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's pretty funny, but like the more insane one is the one in, oh, you haven't seen, you don't know, right? Like,
What haven't I seen?
oh my God, like Ghost.
Oh
Have
no,
you
I haven't seen
seen the
Ghost.
main character's outfits in Ghost?
No.
Like, okay, like literally all the outfits in Ghost are for sale, right? Because like that's the shit that Premium Bandai does now. That's why all the writers look weird, because they basically look like they're walking anime characters, is because they sell all the clothes, right? But like Ghost's main protagonist has like hoodies and shit, basically classic Japanese designs. So like you've seen some, right? They're plus he has those shoes, right? That shit is so insanely, right? And he gets like new ones like every couple. So it's
That's
like, yeah, if you watch Coast, you think, oh, okay, well, they own this rundown temple and they're kind of just getting by and they're doing this investigation shit. Like, yeah, no, like they're loaded with how expensive that garbage that he's like running around in. But yeah, freaking Premium Bandai, like lay off the clothes. Can you give writers like normal clothes? Well, I say that, but like Zero-One kind of did that, but like, God, those were fucking boring. You know, something with a little bit of personality.
hmm. I'm not really looking at their
I mean,
civilian attire.
yeah, I mean, to be fair, the one good thing I will give Zero-One is like everybody kind of looks like an adult, right? It's because like I probably like the young main character. I mean, like I'm not counting the Himigia, but like everybody is like Arto age or older. So that therefore they all kind of dress more professionally. So that
Except for
as
the the main character who dresses like he's in between college applications and work.
yeah, yeah, sort of. Well, I mean, once you own multi, I guess million billion, probably multi-million dollar company, I guess you can dress
That's about like that,
Yeah, I
whatever the
mean,
fuck you want,
it's about like all those times in
right?
Zio when like Sogo looked like he was just getting out of bed and like running around in his pajamas basically.
Oh God. Like at first, dude, like so bland for who he is. Like his whole thing of like I'm just gonna be king of the world, right?
I'm gonna
Like
be king of the
he has
world
like no with no personality,
and like, just
right?
walk
Like I mean, he
around in
has a
my
person,
night robe.
right?
I
That'd
mean
be
to be fair,
something
Hugh
if he
Hefner did that for a couple of years. Okay,
what?
that was a
Sorry.
bad. I said to be fair, that's what Hugh Hefner did.
Yeah. Okay. I mean the point, right? Like so that would be a thing. Like if he had the attitude, but he doesn't. He just acts like a normal, but he just like okay, Zio's got issues. Like the main
Yes.
Yes.
character is like right, like he doesn't have like his character, his appearance, his actions don't fit how he becomes Zio at all.
Like we
And that's
covered the
like the biggest.
we covered the problems of Zio in 50 what 48 49 episodes, and so far what
Plus
two or
the
three
movie.
movies.
I don't
uh,
know.
I want to say 3 movies. Heisei Generations Final.
Oh God.
The
Yeah.
The Zio Nobunaga movie.
Over Quartzer.
Yeah, Overquartzer, that's it. And then there's the Gaze and Zero-One movie, but we haven't seen those yet.
So yeah, I mean we have detailed evidence that Zio has problems, and a lot of them.
Like I said this before, but watching the Overquartzer movie like 6 months after Zio ended, so it's like, all right, going back and watching something from Zio and finding out that it's still terrible.
Yeah, I mean, especially considering what was the week after, the Grease
The
movie.
Grease movie, and that one was great.
Great.
I have
Which
I
And that's like a year after that show, right? It's like, what the shit? What happened to you? Right? And like even in that movie, Sento's a complete asshole. But
like
the
and
movie still works perfectly fine.
because of the understanding of this is Reese telling the story, so of course Build's an asshole.
Build was
Like
already
it
an asshole. This one's just played up a bit.
because now it's from his Grace's point of view, who already doesn't really like Sento to begin with.
I mean, when you open the movie rewriting the ending from Greece's perspective,
And when he gets called on out on it, his screw you, it's my movie.
It's so
It's
good.
fantastic. Like the what ends up making the majority of Build work and what makes Build so good is the fact of how it ended, which explains a lot of the behaviors and the jokes and a lot of the sight gags that we had throughout the entire show, which is literally because, oh yeah, we didn't watch the events, we watched the show that was explaining the events.
Bill,
We watched the,
Oh,
for lack of a better term, we
okay, so
watched the based on true events TV
like
show.
Build's got
oh
some
yeah,
problems to it, but really the biggest problem with it is the main villain.
you've
But other
also
than
done.
that, it's a
Yeah,
solid Rider series that I would recommend anyone watch.
right. So I was just gonna make the joke that it's like the Tachibana act took 13 episodes, Bill took the whole show. To figure out what the fuck was going on.
Oh, but
um,
Build has some problems, mainly with Evolt. I'd still recommend anyone watch it. Zio, I would say watch a select few episodes
yeah, just a couple.
if you
Like
feel like
honestly,
it,
watching the whole show is not worth it.
especially the
Like
first arc.
there's some good two-parters, but like it's so okay. Here's the thing, right? Like watch White Was good, then watch a couple two-parters that you're interested in. Because guess what?
Watch
The overall plot for Zio does not matter.
Yeah, watch the
Wait,
Kabuto,
White White Waz,
Agito, and
Kabuto,
Blade.
Agito, Blade, and then Decade Season 2.
Yeah,
And that's all you need to
yeah.
watch of that show.
Basically, anytime Decade shows up is good.
Yeah, no. If you're gonna watch anything from the White Waz arc, be sure to watch the White Waz versus D-End fight.
Damn, that was a good fight.
So, anyway, Zero-One. It's really cool how, up till now, Naki and Fua have been fighting each other for control, but then they both agree on one thing. Fuck Thouser. Let's kick this guy's ass.
And I'm loving the fact that
Yeah.
this is a growing consensus.
This is like I said this before, but hey guys, can we all just agree, fuck this one guy, and then we go back to fighting each other?
Like,
Right.
truthfully,
Like,
we had, right as of right now, we have two people who truly haven't joined Team Fuck Thouser, and that's Hirobi. Because to be fair, the only reason why Hirobi was interfering was because he was going to kill Fua, who had Naki inside of him, and that was a no-no.
Yeah, but look, Hirobi already doesn't like Zai.
Right, but he hasn't fully jumped on
He-
board.
He's not on board
working
with
together.
he's not on board with teaming up to fight Thouser. He's only fighting for his own agenda.
Right. So him and Yua.
Who still
That's
has
it.
to break away.
Everybody else has joined Team Fuck Thouser, and it is a great team. It is the best team.
Yeah, I can't wait till like next episode where like Hirobi and Yua team up to kick Thouser's ass, and then Thouser somehow still manages to walk off because I guess him to into his life's not enough.
Okay.
I'm just imagining a
You have
scenario
to
where
walk off.
like
Doesn't make Thouser's ass, and then we're finally.
so like Kurobi has like a spin kick for his rider kick, right? And then Jin kind of
Yeah.
has something like that. So I'm just imagining a scenario where like Kurobi and Jin are like playing tennis with Thouser with their rider kicks.
Oh god, that'd be so good.
And then at the end of it,
Wow.
at the end of it, you have Fua use fighting shark finisher to snatch him out of midair.
Monkey in the middle.
Well, dude, Yua's like hook, like sight thing is basically a launcher anyway to get this whole mess started, right? And then Arto's kick is just a smash, so it comes at the end.
Right, it's the final smash into the ground.
Right.
And then everyone's just like, dude, we're going for a record.
So did we just Go Ranger this? We Go Ranger Thouser's finish.
Oh god, I guess so. Why not?
Because it's
so
literally their little football rugby finish, but it's just Thouser instead of a ball.
It's Thouser is the ball. Yeah.
All right. Final thoughts on the episode.
It was fucking great. Like, to me, I think what the key point for this, what made this like extra good, was the symmetry between the shots of Fua and Naki, where it was literally the same scene, just like a slightly different setting, like
filtered.
Like filtered, and people missing from the shot. Whenever it was showing Naki, when Fua lifts his hand to shoot the gun, Naki mirrors him, but there's no weapon. All of the mirroring was fantastic and sealed this episode. Finally, you was starting to come to the conclusion that she's an idiot.
Oh, this is what Fu has been trying to tell me.
I mean, it took a while, but at least she's getting there. Especially with next week's preview.
Literally every other character is telling me this, maybe they're on to something.
Look, I mean, to be fair, it sounds obvious, but like, it actually does kind of get to this point. You
has been trying to justify to herself that she's doing everything of her own free will to shield herself from how abusive this relationship is.
Yeah. As for like the mirror shots, like as cool as they were, okay, they're not bad, but like I've seen better versions of that in other stuff, so I'm like, oh, I would like it to be done a little bit differently, but otherwise, it was still very well. It's just I've seen like it done slightly better in some other stuff, but that's not a problem. That's just me comparing to some.
Yeah,
right.
No, it was done really well.
Yeah.
This
is really solid. It's just, like this is the thing that Garo does a lot. And then there's some shots in like X8 and stuff. So I'm like, oh, those are slightly more dynamic versions of doing this. So I'm like, oh, well, I would have liked that, but like this wasn't bad. But other than that, like, if you've not seen that, then you don't have to worry about it. Especially considering like how much more personality like all the other shots have. It was great. Man, it so helped watching that special before this episode. Because otherwise, like Naki's character, I feel would have fallen a little bit flat.
Right, it wouldn't have had the same impact.
No, right. Naki didn't fall flat. It just fell out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's a good.
No,
with the special, it feels like it's.
It's like, yeah, I didn't watch the special first, and like I regret doing that because special first makes it impact a lot more. It just felt lot more out of nowhere without the special.
Right, because like without the special, it's like, oh well, just out of nowhere, Fluid gets this to work. Where in reality, it only works because
It's
Naki reached sentience to begin with.
Yeah, this has just been building up in the background like the entire series.
We just didn't know until now. Again, some of the best character development happens off screen, apparently.
Oh god, damn it, Toei. Right? It's so annoying. Um,
Fucking Gentoku.
yeah, I was gonna say, what do you think's gonna happen to Naki? Do you think is
Oh, he's
Naki
gonna
gonna
die
be
at some
stuck?
point.
Like, is she gonna? Oh, okay, that's interesting. I thought like she was gonna get taken out. Matsuba Jinrai
Oh,
gets another.
uh, so Naki is definitely going to be separated from Fuwa at some point, but is not going to make it to the end of the series. That is my prediction.
Right. I agree. I will actually be more shocked if Naki makes it to the end.
Naki's doesn't have a dream of their own. They say here like I don't know what my dream is, but at least I can make the dreams of others come true. So that tells me that Naki will end up being a martyr for uh, coexistence between humans and human gear.
Uh, so true. I mean, that you're right. It's pretty standard setup for that kind of narrative. I hope they live. Uh,
Oh, that'd be great, but
but but if they live, it's gonna be super interesting because then you have like, well, like look at this cast, man, right? Like, um, because it's pretty rare to have that many like female members and like of course like first non-binary actor. And like if they all somehow live, like it's unlikely because it feels like only one of the enemy Humagear, like one of the Matsubo Jinai ones will survive till the end, or maybe none of them will survive till the
like it's the X8 issue of like, yeah, we wanted Kiria to live, but was that necessarily better for the story?
end. Yeah.
Like, and
Um,
at the end of X8, it's just like, was there any real consequences for anyone's actions?
Yeah, no.
I don't want Zero-One to do that again because it's the same writer. I don't want Death to just be negligible.
right. I mean, I feel like it's gonna be a really interesting setup because it's like, well, because all three members of Matsubo Jinra have really interesting dynamics now, where it's like Hirobi, free the Humagear, put them under Arc, or link them with the Arc, because that's what he is best for them, right? And so it's like his is just like we just get rid of the humans, make our network for ourselves, right? And then Jin is like, no, break free. Basically, humans, no humans, who gives a shit? You know, you're basically the same as a human being. You deserve to live. And then like Naki is like, I don't even know what the hell, right? Like, I just want to protect Humagear. What that means, who knows, right? Because like, I mean, I feel like they're gonna be a good character, but like they're so neutral right now, they could fall on either side. But I mean, it they do have a setup where they could be set up to be the one fighting the Ark, right? Because it's like, well, I was controlled by a human. I don't want to be controlled by an AI,
I don't want to be a
right?
tool.
You're right, exactly. Um, yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see Naki play off of like Hirobi. Like Jin, it's gonna be easy because like I feel like Jin would be on Naki's side. But like Hirobi and Naki is gonna be super interesting to see.
Alright. So thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. And we'll be back on Tuesday for more Kira Major and next Wednesday for more Zero-One. Um, I guess Toei actually put out a statement saying that they have enough of backlog to last to May. or
which is
through May
fantastic.
or something.
Yeah, mid-May.
Mid-May. Okay, so yeah, we've got at least 2 to 3 more weeks.
Yeah. Plus, they announced that they're putting Go Kaiser online now.
Yep, they're
Yeah.
adding Gokaiger to their YouTube channel.
Nice.
So go have fun with
Yeah.
that, y'all. That's great.
Yeah, no, it's one of their best ones, and it gives you a
Well,
little
it depends
taste
if they're
of.
gonna sub it or
Uh,
not. But then again, like the show's been subbed by fans, so as long as they just turn on community subs, we'll just resub
Yeah.
it.
so yeah, if you haven't seen Gokaiger, it's definitely worth a watch. And if you haven't seen any Sentai, it gives you a little taste of a lot of previous different ones, showing you a little bit about what made the previous Sentai special. Not much, just a taste, but it's still worth checking out. It might get you interested in some of those series. So
Yeah,
And
basically, it's
it-
better decade.
it it also did a good job of showing you what would happen if any one of us ever ended up on a Sentai team.
Oh, because Silver is there.
Silver.
Yes.
Silver is
Yeah.
the Sentai otaku. All right. So thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone.
Thank you all for joining us.